Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I have come to bury Caesar, not to praise Caesar. And my nightly thespian role has now been concluded. And as you all know, that I leave you a quote, give you a quote at the very start of the broadcast, which in this case is a quote by Pythagoras. Oh my God, I can't talk. There we go. Pythagoras, who said, "What the hell's a triangle?" Anyway, such is life. Now, last night, I did the hair, the outfit, etc., etc., etc. Tonight, the second outfit, which I have left because, as for second, mainly because it's got the most beautiful violets and purples, and oh my God, it's beautiful. What I like in a color scheme, just beautiful. Anyway, that's what we're going to be doing tonight. And needless to say, I don't really feel that I need to put down color on top of it in this case. The marker color, simply because the purples are so strong that I don't need to start off with all those extra colors, so to speak, that extra layer of color, so I don't really need to do it. So as I said to you the other day, the beautiful thing about a rule is it's meant to be broken. And when one breaks their own rules, it's even more delicious. So indeed. So I'm gathering to me my lilacs and purples and I gotta tell you, there's the Tuscan Med. God, I looked for that hard last night. Think I could find it? Not a chance. Not a chance. That's okay. I don't need it now. And we have a mulberry. Well, I have a mulberry. Yes, I have one on the go. And I have a whole bunch of stubby little whites that I meant to go and get a couple of new ones. No. I did not. Colorless blenders, a bit more purple. Oh God, look at my color. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. My collection of whites. Oh my God. Well, if you want to see them, there they are. Every one of the buckers are like 2 inches long. Now that's a good pencil. It just means I have to hand sharpen it, so. And God, you know how I love to hand sharpen. I mean, I live for hand sharpening. I'm sorry, but I'm in a odd mood tonight. It was a very, very busy day. My extender, which we'll be using extensively with these miniature whites, and I think I have not all the purples. I'm gonna need, well, there's some black raspberry. I always need that. Needless to say, it's getting closer and closer to the point where I'm going to have to break out a new set of Prismacolors. Now, what I wanted to show you is seems a little, well, these have traveled far, I must say. Seems a little loose. I don't know why. But on the 8th anniversary of Max Grumbacher, they put out a set of absolutely incredible brushes. And these were Max Grumbacher watercolor brushes. 90th anniversary set. And in this lovely box made of walnut, I guess. And I've had it ever since. And I've used it a couple of times, but I gotta say, the only reason I got it, the only reason, was because I was doing some advertising for them. Well, not advertising, I mean I was doing demonstrations for them. So they said, oh, well, you're a friend of Max. Oh, of course I am. This guy's been dead for... I didn't say that, but that's what I thought. This guy's only been dead for like 50 years or something. By the way, if you're ever in Florence and you want to get a little souvenir, this is where... The reason I kept this is because it says Galleria dell'Accademia. And this is where the actual statue of David is. I was doing a talk one time, and during the talk, it wasn't a lecture, it was like a talk. European art and all that stuff. And during the talk, I said that the Galleria Accademia, for some reason which I could not remember the name of, the Galleria dell'Accademia, where the David is, the actual statue of David is inside in this gallery in a rotunda with a domed roof because he's so tall. But anyway, that said, the reason I this caused some consternation was I said yes, and the reproduction's out in front of the Uffizi in Florence, which is just before the bridge, you know, by the town square in front of the cathedral there. And a whole bunch of people almost fell off their chairs. I went, like, what the hell is happening here? And they said, what do you mean that wasn't David? I went, well, that's a reproduction. It's outside. It's made of stone, but it's a reproduction of David, not the David. They went, nobody told us that. And I went, so let me get this straight. You went all the way to Florence, didn't even pick up the Michelin guide or something, didn't know anything about the city at all, and went and thought you saw the statue of David, but what you really saw was a reproduction? I said, Oh, really, you know. Sometimes one can lose faith in humanity. The stupidity. Just, I don't know. No, I'll be honest with you, I have literally none, zero, sympathy. None. Which after the talk, I kind of said, like, you know, maybe you don't deserve to see David. You're too goddamn stupid to see David. That's what I was thinking, right? And they were. Some of them were in fits. Pardon me, but in fits, literally fits. But I said, no buts. You didn't see it. End of story. This is not a quiz. You didn't see it. It's not a maybe. It's you didn't see it. Period. Oh, you can see it all running through the mind. Now I got to go back to Florence. Oh my God. Yeah, you do. If you want to see David, because you didn't see him when you went there. And right away, as all people seem to do, somebody's got to be blamed, has to be blamed. Now one guy started telling me, well, I think you're wrong. So I entertained him for all of like 8.5 seconds before I politely said, well, I think you're just stupid. You know, like, Jesus, you're wrong. I mean, I told him I was at the gallery Academia where David is. And that's the gallery where if you try to take a picture of them, of David, they go, no, get away. Some little guy whose job it is just to guard David will chase you into the crowd. All the while you're trying to get a picture of the poor bugger. But why it's such a big deal, I don't know. I mean, there's only like 10,000 pictures of 10,000, 50, 100,000 pictures of David out there. What does it matter if you take another one? Mind you, I knew that, so I didn't bring in my big camera. I was using my cell phone. But still, I mean, come on. Just silly. Some idiot bureaucrat, pencil pusher, decided that, well, we shouldn't let anybody have a picture of it. Why? Pray tell. Why? And that was exactly what I thought. What in God's name difference does it make if there's one more picture of David out there? Anyway, that's the story of David. That's the story of David. But man, the look of absolute horror. That's what got me. Like, holy God. It was like I had told them that they had shaken hands with somebody who had leprosy or something. Like, what? What? But only one had the audacity to say, I think you're mistaken. Which is the fool's, which often is the fool's only comeback, if you know what I mean. You don't know, so you question the veracity of the person who's telling you that you didn't see it. Okay. Good move. Well, not a good move, because he got a blast. Idiot. Da 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 da. Yeah. But on the other side of the coin, if you ever get a chance to go to Italy, to Rome, to Florence, for God's sake, go to Florence and see David. It's like a pilgrimage. You have to see it. It's just it's. I'm not a sculptor. I'm just saying that it's almost beyond belief. It really is. It's one questions really one's it's the same it's the same when you see the Sistine Chapel. You go, no, it just can't be. It just can't. I mean, how would somebody do this? Well, I mean, you talk about it and you look at it and you go, oh my God. Da 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 da. People who like their leisure and Pepsi to drink, that's one. So go ahead and fix a drink that makes you think. No, that makes you feel young as you think. Pick the light one, the modern bright one. Now it's Pepsi for those who think young. That was a very popular song. I think Noel Coward penned it. But in the 60s it was a jingle. Now I can't remember. I do remember some of the verse to the original. But for some reason, every time I think of a thing, I think of the jingle they made up from Pepsi. I really did. I do. I don't know why, but at least David Bowie's not in my head tonight. Thank you, God. Because yesterday, Tuesday, right? Yeah, well, yesterday I was at the lecture. Thing, yes, what was the thing? Thing. Something happened. Well, whatever it was, if I didn't see it, thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's who it was. Lidocaine. What a great name. There was a delay on it. I'm sorry, Lidocaine. Thank you, but I love your name. What does her think of that Lidocaine? Man, what a great handle. light again. I love it. Man, how you doing? How you doing? We're doing the perfect world here, and I'm about halfway through it. And I was watching another Twitch streamer from Europe this afternoon. They're dark in bed right now, so there's no point. But I was watching her, and she's like me. She uses Prismacolor. And I talked to her. Well, I didn't talk to her. Oh, thank you. I'll let you see the whole thing then. There we go. There she is. There we go. Anyway, what I was saying is that I was talking to her. She does the same type of art as I do with Prisma on paper. Mind you, she was using, I'm sorry, I don't know the numbers, but I think it was A2. Whatever it was big. It was equivalent of 16 by 20. And it was a commission. And she was doing a really top-notch job. And she was really young. Well, young compared to me. What can I say, right? So I was saying to her, like, why don't you do this and this? And I quickly got the impression that she was not open to changing anything about the way she draws. Now that happens when you're young, because once you get really good at it and you know you're good at it, then what happens is you don't want to change anything because you figured it all out. So I was gently trying to tell her, but she didn't speak any English. So what happened is her boyfriend spoke English, and he was doing all the translating. And since I found out that, I know it sounds idiotic probably to somebody who's really familiar with Twitch, but I'm not that techie a guy. But I didn't know that, you know, all these people who send back and forth information in Twitch, what I didn't know was if you just right click the chat room and go English, it translates all the posts into English so you can follow everything. I go, man, I didn't know that. So now that I know that, I learned a few days ago. I've been doing it, and I'll tell you, it's a godsend, really. You get to see what they're doing, you know, because they're on usually during the day, because, you know, they're ahead of us time-wise. So anyway, very interesting, very good, and I decided to do this drawing, like put it over the top. That's what I mean. I decided I'm going to make this drawing go right over the top. Not that I don't do that with all my drawings, but she was so exact that I said, you know, so I thought, okay. Because her boyfriend came in, went over and looked at my stuff, and went, oh, I really like it. But then I really looked at her stuff, and she's so methodical, which is good in an artist, you know, like something that's, when you're that methodical. That's just my sharpener light again. No worries. I went, oh, okay. Like when I do my portraits, something like that. But I kind of loosen up a little when I do these, because it's fun, right? But the reason I thought, maybe I should treat them the same as I do my portraits, is because then I find out that it's a commission she's doing in 16 by 20. And I go, oh, I never even thought about that, like a commission. Then I thought, this is the weird part. It gets weird, right? Then I get an email on Facebook, or a message on Facebook, from somebody who wants to come over on Saturday, or wants to contact me Saturday about purchasing some of this artwork. And I went, oh, okay. And I thought, how dumb are you, Paul? Yeah, that's what I thought. How dumb am I? Like, that's not just dumb, that's bloody stupid. Of course people want this stuff. But I never thought of it that way. I think of portraits that way. I think of fine art stuff I've done that way. But I don't think of, I don't really think of this stuff that way. So, I decided what I would do is simply say that yes, all of this art is for sale. All of it. And if you're interested, just let me know. Because frankly, I do them for fun. I don't do them for so they get priced out at really like fantastic prices, because it doesn't reflect time that I put into them, because I'm doing them for fun. It's not like when you do a portrait, there's a formula you use, and that formula kind of dictates what you're going to charge for a portrait. But I've never applied that. Like, you can't apply that formula to this, because you're doing this really for fun. Even though people like them and whatnot, it's still for fun. And so even if it takes 15 hours or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Which, unlike a portrait, it does matter when you're doing commission work. So what I'm saying is, you're getting a hell of a deal. Because if you got what it costs, or if it was a portrait, man, it would cost a lot. It would cost a lot, yes. Another thing was weird about this young girl. Now, when I say young girl, I mean like she's in her 20s. She's not like 10 years old or something. That's the oh, whatever it is, I don't know. It's just, to me, they look very young. Maybe she's 25, maybe she's 30, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, it's still very young. Anyway, regardless of that, she works bare-armed on the Prisma. So I asked and I said, how in God's name do you do that without dragging your arm over, like you're dragging your arm. How is it that you don't get, because I'm very careful to keep my arm down, because you get bits and pieces of Prismacolor all over your bloody work, and it's a pain in the butt to get off. Well, it isn't really, but I mean, it's just another thing you have to do that you wouldn't have had to do if you know, one of those deals. Anyway, she says, oh no, I just brush it regularly. And I go, huh? So I didn't quite understand that, because you can't be using exactly the same material as me and not getting the dust that comes from Prismacolor, which is the little bits of pigment that break off on the pencil, and it's like dust almost. So I don't quite understand. I don't know. Mysteries. Then I kind of thought, like, maybe she's got a technique going on that I don't really know about. So I probed a little deeper, and nope, no more information to be given. I went, how the hell is she doing that? Because yours truly, like, yes, I suffer from that. The Prismacolor has to be cleaned regularly. And it was so cute. She holds up one of these to tell me how to do it. God, love the young ones. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you. God love them. You know, you don't get to enjoy that kind of stuff till you get way older, which like, I'm not Methuselah, I'm not trying to say that, but it is funny, especially when the young ones go, oh yeah, you gotta use this brush. Okay, I will. Thank you. Thank you, Obi-Wan. Thank you. What the hell did I put there? What did I do in my sketch? Why did I put that? Oh, balance. Okay. There we go. I know I did. My sketch isn't here because I'm far enough along. I don't need it. And it's I'm trying just to decide here whether I'm going to go down into the bottom into her costume or I'm going to stay up here. That's what I'm sort of like ruminating. Yes, that's the word. Ruminating. I'm ruminating. But ruminate no more. Because I have decided, and look at that, there was gold right there, and I didn't do it, and there, I didn't do it last night, I should have done those two spots. Oh, what a tangled web. But anyway. Stupido. I should have done those. But that's okay. No reason to lose any sleep over it. None at all. None at all. Because I can always go back and do it. Oh yes, I made a change here. I do remember that. You know, when you're drawing the sketch out, you often just kind of change it till you know which is better. Because some things are done that you don't really need to do. And to be honest with you, a lot of things are done that the graphic guy, what they do is they buy usually the original, the rights, complete rights to the original drawing, and those rights include changing it any way they like. And what happens is they send it over to the art department, and the art department goes, yeah, this is something else. So you know what we should do? We should just add a little bit of here or add a bit of there, and, you know, to show that we exist. And they do that. So they add stuff into it. Little things. Not the figures so much, but the backgrounds and that kind of stuff. So anyway, they do that. So often as not, when you sketch it out and figure it out, when you figure out the sketch, that's what I'm trying to say. When you figure out the sketch, you realize that the art department has been playing with the sketch, and they put in a lot of extra stuff you don't need. So the people who pay the art department know that they're alive and well. God, I almost fell into Bowie there. Got to be careful. Anyway, that's what I mean. So you don't need necessarily put that stuff in. So when you go through the sketch, you analyze the sketch, you think about it, you figure it all out. You see it. You don't see it just like when you look, but you see it when you tear apart the entire process. What you need to do if you're going to draw it. Like in this case, they put in more of these butterfly things than they needed. And I can tell because what they've done is they've plopped them right over top of some areas in the drawing where the rule of thirds just barely applies. So the consequence of that is that they're messing with the drawing. And it doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong. It could even mean that the art director said, putting a couple more butterflies in it. That might have happened. You never know. But, needless to say, you know what was in the original sketch, kind of, and you know what wasn't. And that's okay. Doesn't matter. Because it doesn't really affect the overall sketch. But last night, after I had my 4-hour marathon session, I was in a site. I don't know what site it was, but whatever. I was doing my normal cruise through the online gaming sites and whatnot that I peruse just to see what's happening. And there's a new character coming out. It's called Bridget. I don't know if you've heard of her. It's in one of those online games, which I have written down but I didn't memorize. So I'm sorry for that. But her name is Bridget. It's a new character. And I saw all the rushes on the drawing. And the controversy was that these guys, whoever they were, for Bridget, gave her a new face. No doubt about that. But basically just stole the image, the armor image, from another game. And like, it was too close for comfort, I'll tell you. So they were going, well, yeah, but it looks just like so-and-so in this game. So I went and, so then they threw up comparisons. Oh, no kidding. Now I can understand if it's just an image. I mean, like, really, it was just a promo image, but apparently they've written the entire code for this character with this image. I'm thinking, well, that's bloody nervy, you know. Like, the armor was just, even the weapon, it was, everything was in exactly the same place. So I said to myself, I said, wow. Wow. That's what I said to myself. Wow. And so I didn't, I heard a ring, ring, but I didn't see anything come up. Okay. Well, if it comes up, I'll look up. As the eye doctor says, just look up like every 15 minutes or so and just kind of exercise your eyes a bit and you'll be fine. So, well, I've been doing it this way for like, N3T D3V is now fun. Well, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. I appreciate the follow. And it's nice to hear from you. And I'm looking up. I'm looking up because I want to say thank you very much, N3T. But about the ice, so I go, well, you know, I gotta tell you, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and I have never heard of that. She goes, well, do you ever look up? I go, if I'm working like not like this, which is one of the reasons, to be honest with you, like this is good for me, because I look up and I talk to you in the camera, right, and my eyes refocus. It's not that there's anything wrong, because she told me like my eyes are perfect, but she said you should really, you know, like refocus a little bit, a little, yeah. I said, okay, but I've never done it before. She goes, well, start. So, you know, she's an ophthalmologist, and she's a lovely young woman. She really is. And I told her so. What a pleasant little young woman she was. And then I got a, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Which is, you know, for guys my age, it's really tough. And I don't mean anything by it. Simply that I genuinely think she's a lovely young woman, very talented, great bedside manner, the whole 9 yards. And I don't mean anything by it. And I'm stumbling over myself, saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by that. I'm just saying, giving you a compliment." And she goes, "I understand. Don't worry about a thing." Which I thought was really, really nice of her. Because she saw that I was in obvious distress, like, oh my God, I don't want to get the poor girl mad at me for no reason. But no, she did not take any offense at all. And, you know, it's kind of a rite of passage, you know, like you get to a certain age, you can call them a girl, even though they're probably like 40 years old or something. But she's a lovely young woman and extremely good doctor. And she's, it was heartfelt thanks, that's what it was. But she recognized that, which I thought was not only really cool, but she didn't, what's the word? She didn't jump to a defensive position, so to speak. She just took the compliment as it was and just left it at that. I thought, you know, that's a class act, which even made me like her more as a doctor. Which is all I meant. She's got a fabulous bedside manner. Not that I've ever had to go in the hospital or anything like that, but you just know, you know. And one time I was there, and I had some people waiting, and I was going to do a lecture. And it's always a long wait at the ophthalmologist, always. Because it just is. You know, they put drops in your eyes, and they got to look, and they got to wait, and you go back up, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I went up to her, and I said, well, the secretary, and I said, could you just let me a quick idea how long it'll be? There's a lecture coming up, and I gotta be there. I have to be there at this time. Will I be able to get out of here? Because I was prepared to say, you know, I'll come back another day to finish up this test, because it was not test, but it was like 2-in-1 things they wanted to check. And she goes, 1 second. So she goes into her, and she says, the doctor will see you right away. I went, oh, you know, she doesn't have to do that, you know, like, I can come back, I don't mind. She goes, no, nonsense, it's not a big deal, because your drops have been in half an hour already or whatever. So she pulls me right in, and quickly does what she has to do, which, I'm going to be honest with you, which is all of like a minute. You know, like, quick look in this machine. Okay, everyone's good, you're good. And I said, you know, I really thank you. Like, it's that was very nice of you. I wasn't expecting that you had to do that. And she went, not to worry at all. She goes, it's my pleasure. That was the last time I was there. So you can imagine that she's a very nice girl. I mean, so accommodating and great bits, and can't speak enough to her about her. And I don't really know how old she is. She looks younger because she's Chinese. So to me, the Chinese girls always look like they're like 16 until they're like 100 years old. You know, like, I don't know. They don't seem to age. Like, I don't know what the age is. And the reason I say that is that my daughter-in-law is half Chinese, and I'll tell you, I don't know what it is, but like I've known her since she was like 14 years old. That's when she first started going with my son. And man, she doesn't age at all. Which I point out to my son nonstop. Which he obviously doesn't want to hear. Yeah. She doesn't age a day. She said, no, not at all. What about you though? Look at it, yeah. Which is another God-given right of a father to really give it to his mid-30-year-old son. As many times as one could or can. Which another isn't really, it's a God-given right. It is. On the other hand, I've never said that to my daughter. Why? Because the tears would not stop falling for a week. Dad thinks I'm getting old. And my answer would have been, well, no, I wouldn't say that to her, but my answer would have been, well, yeah, you're getting close to 40, you know, like, happens. Oh, no. I don't know why women seem to have such a problem with that age. But 40 is some number they just don't like. God. Like I had a I think I told you that I'm a semi-professional photographer as well. I've had a lot of photographs published, I'll just say that. So, and it's not that I know anything special about the camera. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I know how to compose a shot. That's what it really is. No more, no less. I really and truly, being an artist, it comes with the territory, right? I mean, you just know how to compose a shot. And so it's not that I am a whirlwind getting these incredible underwater shots or something. Not in the least. They're just regular shots, but they're composed because the art to me in photography is the composition of the shot. And if you are an artist, it's second nature to you. You look and you know how you'd paint it, so that's how you'd photograph it. So that's how I do it. And I have this shot of her when she was about 25, I guess. Oh man, I mean, it's one of my favorite shots of her. Actually, I have two. One's when she's like 20, and there's two of these shots I have are absolute favorites of mine that I've taken of her. And I was going through my photographs and my digital stuff and cleaning some files up, and we're not cleaning but moving them around. Sorry, Scott, if you're listening. I know that moving them around would be the key word. Anyway, so I sent them to her, and her answer back kind of really threw me. It was like, yeah, she looked good at that age. She was talking about herself. I went, huh? Because to me, she still looks like that. Like in my mind's eye. Like when I see her, I don't see... I see her the way my mind's eye sees her, you know. I go, what? And then she explains to me, yeah, well, I don't look like that anymore. I went, oh, yeah, okay, now I get it. But for a minute there, I was quite nonplussed, to say the least. Not quite knowing what she meant, was what I was saying. But into everyone's life, a tad of rain called, "You're getting older, must fall." So I don't know if I've mentioned this, but the student I have is in the arts in Sheridan College in Toronto, who I kind of tutor because he's very interested in art. Anyway, so he shows me what, like, he's 19, 20, something like that. Anyway, very young, and he shows me what he watches in terms of, you know, getting social opinions of university age people and whatnot. So he puts on this guy. Who has a table put up. Preacher of Gods. Ah, good name. Good name, my man. Thank you very much for following. It is an absolute pleasure to meet you. A pleasure. I'm doing the Perfect World Girls. I'm sorry, I'll move out so you can see it. I'm doing the second figure tonight. The costume, as Canadians, we Canadians say. Costume, not costume, costume. But sometimes they say that, and if they're US, they don't get it. They go, what? You what? Costume. Oh, you mean costume. No, I don't mean costume. I mean costume. Oh, okay. Anyway. Such is the differences of language between Canada and the US. But anyway, what I was saying is that yes, my student gives me a YouTube of this guy who sets up a table on the university campus outdoors, and he says, it kind of says on the table, "Convince me." And I go, like, well, okay. So the whole premise of the show is that if you have he has a position on something, and if you have a different position, you sit down and you try to convince him that your position is correct and his is wrong. Okay, that's the whole premise of what the guy does. Now, he's a very good debater. Well, I wouldn't say he's a debater. He's a skilled tactician when it comes to having conversations. And one of the reasons I was frankly kind of critical of him is he uses debating techniques when he's doing this that he wouldn't get away with in a debate. But because it's conversation, he gets away with just idle conversation, which he falls back and says, we're just talking. Well, no, you're not. You're debating. And anyway, needless to say, his first two videos I was not impressed with. And I explained my position on why I didn't think it was, I liked him so much, until the third video. So he's in some U.S. campus, and they're talking about how to address a person in the modern world. Now, many people from my generation would say, well, XX or XY. Nice to meet you. Oh, I'm using a Prismacolor Premier, and I'm using Prismacolor Verithens. And once in a very blue moon, I will drop into Faber-Castell polychromes or Derwent just to get a look if I want to get something really a little different, you know. But I would say, in saying that, I'm 90% Prismacolor Premiers. 90 at least. Maybe more. 98% Prismacolor Premier. And I use these simply because they're wax based. And they have pure pigment in them. And they're the only artist grade color pencils that were available for many, many years prior to the polychromes and whatnot coming out. So I kind of trained myself to use them, and I find the polychromes have some strong points to them. They don't, in my opinion, do the job of Prismacolor. Now, not to say that Prismacolor doesn't have its own set of problems, which is breakage, soft leads, poor quality control, etc., etc. But they do lay down incredible color. There's no question about that. And why I say that I trained myself with them is because in my day there was no colored pencils. Colored pencils were kid stuff, you know, like Crayola and, you know, that kind of grade. There was no artist grade pencil crayon. Nobody used them. Nobody. And well, I just don't think they had been invented, to be honest with you. That's what I think. So, okay, and meat, okay, thanks. I'm looking to buy a set, so, oh, okay. Okay, have you got like 3 or 4 minutes? Because I got to give you the whole deal. Okay? First of all, I have to ask this. Is there a budget involved, or does it not matter? It makes a big difference. Is there a budget? That's what I got to know. Because then I have to go down one of 2 different roads for you. I gotta leave from work. Yes, I do then leave from work a little bit of a budget. Yeah, okay. Well, here's the deal. If you go to Amazon, you can get a set of 48 for probably around 40 bucks, maybe 50 at the most. You can check. Sometimes they're cheaper. You can just look at that. If that amount of money, okay, so if that amount of money doesn't bother you, just go buy the Prismacolor Premiers. Make sure they're in a tin though. You want them in a tin, because if they're in a tin and somebody's dropped them, the pencils won't be broken. Don't get the ones for some reason they sell that are in cardboard cases and whatnot. Get the ones in an actual tin, which Amazon does sell. If you're not, 100 might be close to mine. Oh, okay, well you got no problem then. You can buy a set of 72. Well, if you look at Amazon, are you able to go through Amazon? If you look at Amazon and look for a sale, you might even get 132 for that money. I think around Christmas I got a set that I haven't used yet for about $100 for 132. So I did see it and I bought it. So I'm sure it was 132. But you'd have to go. You really and truly you have to go look. So 100 is, if you get 100, you don't have a problem at all. You can go. The least you're going to get, the very least, is 72. And 72. Bingo. Buy that set. That is a fabulous price. 150 is their biggest set. Their 150 is their biggest set. So for 85 bucks, you're laughing. But you have to get a colorless blender. And if you go into like a Michael's or wherever, buy 3 or 4 or as many whites as you can. They're about $1.65 a pencil to buy them individually, but you go through a lot of whites to adjust color and whatnot. So go and get extra whites, and yeah, you see, now I don't know how they're selling them that cheap, because if you go to the art stores, for 150, they're around 200 and some odd dollars. But if you can get them for 85 bucks, oh man, I'm gonna go look when I'm done here tonight. For 85 bucks, I just stack them up in the because I have 10 sets I'm working on with here. So I just stack them up and add to them as I need it. I mean, you can't go wrong. 85 bucks, that's really, really good. Man, there's no reason not to have Prismacolor at that price. So anyway, that's your deal, and you need to buy a colorless blender, and be very careful when you sharpen them, okay? Because they're very soft leads, and the biggest thing is people go, I can't sharpen it. Well, if you've got a few bucks left over, which you do, go and get yourself a electric pencil sharpener. You can get Panasonic or Boston, one of those brands, a good brand of pencil sharpener. Don't get the cheapy ones that have like the razor blades in them. You want one that's like an old-fashioned pencil sharpener, but it's electric. The 2 brands I use is Panasonic and Boston. I've used them all over the years, so they're the ones that last the longest and do the best job. And for my money, Panasonic does the best job of all. I don't know how much they are because I've had mine for a long time, but if you get those, you will not kill your pencil crayons. Because at times you can go, it'll really frustrate you. Believe me. Because for years we had to, before they came out with those, had to sharpen all the Prismacolors with a, yeah, 180 Michael. See what I'm talking about? That's a hell of a difference. It's like $100 difference. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you can get them, get them. You can't beat it. And the money you save, get yourself a Panasonic pencil sharpener. Just go on eBay and look, or not eBay, but Amazon. If they don't have an Amazon, check on eBay and just look for a Panasonic electric sharpener, the one that sharpens from the top. You put it in. Yet, no, softcore is what they are. Softcore means Prismacolor Premier. Softcore, any wax-based pencil crayon is soft core. That's just the nomenclature. That's what they call them. But that's the score of a long. That's the score. But you hear that roar in the background? That's my aging Boston sharpener, which works very well still. And I've had it for years. I've probably had it for like 6-7 years now. And I use only that to sharpen Prismacolor, because if you try to use a regular sharpener, now I was in Staples the other day. What do they call it in the States? It's Staples, or yeah, Staples. I'm sure it's Staples. Anyway, they make their own brand of pencil sharpener. And what they did is they bought the rights off of Boston to make it. And it's considerably cheaper than a Boston pencil sharpener. And it works just as good. Because I had the guy open the box, plug it in, and sharpen a pencil for me. So it works the same way. Anyway, they're about 30% cheaper than the Boston ones. And that's Staples, their own brand. So, go figure. Don't ask me why. I'm not an economics major, I'm just an artist, so I don't know why. But they work really, really, really good. You got the deal of the century tonight, so ciao and good luck. That is fabulous. If anybody else is listening and heard that, get your butt over to Amazon and get some pencils. For that price, that's unbelievable. Wow. And I mean that. Wow. I don't even know how they do that. Like, mind you, I did hear a rumor, okay? I did hear a rumor amongst some of the people I know in the art business, like in the biz side of the business, that Prismacolor was feeling a bit of the pinch because polychromes are getting such wide attention now. It's this coloring book thing that's happened, you know, like that's what it is. And people are spending large amounts of money on polychromes. So much so that Prismacolor is kind of saying, this is not good for our long-term business, because they've set up the fact that you can buy single pencils, which, you know, is very expensive for a company to do, because you have to supply. So, you know, you get all this trouble, and the guy walks in and buys one pencil. You know, the profit margin must be much lower than they would have anticipated. But anyway, they do that, which I gotta hand it to them. That is a nice feature. But that said, what I heard is that because some of these companies that are out there, Derwent, there's a couple of Japanese brands, and the Chinese have some brands, but they're all polychrome, they're not softcore. So what happens is Prismacolor is looking for keep its market share right where it is. So what they've done is they're lowering the price on their large line. Like you can buy, like it's weird, but you can buy 24 for $30, but for $80 you can buy 150. figure that one out. So that's what they're doing. So what I'm saying is, you most definitely want to take advantage of that little upheaval in the marketplace. And there's no better place to be than when a company is suffering a little market upheaval. Because you win. 85 bucks for 100 pencils is probably the lowest price I've ever heard. And it was on Amazon. So I'm looking there tonight, and as soon as I see it, I'll be hitting buy. That's unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. And you're talking to a guy with 10 sets on the go. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but you know, when I had my art academy, you know, I needed at least 10 sets on the go at all times. So when I closed it down, I had 10 sets on the go. But now it's just me using them, not all the students that used to come, because I always supplied all the art material. Why? Because then I got results that I wanted. So they didn't come in with Crayola covered, you know. Now if you're just hacking around, you're doing coloring, you buy the Crayolas. I mean, it doesn't matter. But if you're really looking to get into it like it's an art form, don't buy the Crayolas. They're all fake color, and they just don't work. I know you're going to see in YouTube people who say, I love my Crayolas, you know, they work just as good. No, they don't. I've tried it. I mean, I own the business, so of course I tried it, because instead of spending all that money on Prismacolor, if I could spend like 15 bucks for 100 pencils for a Crayola, I would have done it if they were doing the same job. But I bought them and I tried them, and no, they're not the same. And no, they don't blend properly. And no, the color isn't real. I tried everything. Anyway, I also heard the Chinese are coming out with a soft core. Now, whether they're going to be any good or not, who knows? But they're getting into the market bigger and bigger all the time. Because there are some Chinese artists out there using colored pencils, and my guess is the business people have taken notice and said maybe it's time to get into that business, because they took the watercolor business and really brought prices way down. God, like what it costs for watercolors. Like, I can't reach it here, but I have a set over there that I bet you I paid 100 bucks for. And that's dirt cheap. Like, I've paid as high as 30 bucks for a... this is the downside of Prismacolor. I've paid incredible amounts of money for watercolor at times over the years. I once bought a cerulean blue from Winsor Newton, and it was $29 for a 5mm, no, an 8mm tube. The little wee tubes, watercolor tube. Now, needless to say, it does go a long way. I'm not trying to say that. The size of the tube doesn't mean anything, because you really and truly get your money's worth. And it's light fast, and it's real pigment, and so the product is fabulous, but it isn't cheap. It is not cheap. Now, I've never done my own light test on some of the newer brands of watercolor because I have lots and lots of watercolor, so I don't need to do that. But what you should do, if you see a price on an incredible price on a name brand that's or just not quite a name brand but close, what you should do is do the test. And what you do is put the color down on a piece of white paper, say this long, and you put down 6 or 8 colors. Then cover them with, or sorry, just put down 6 or 8 colors and then cover them with something that is light opaque, like something like black cardboard or something. And on the other side, do the same thing, same colors, and put it in the window in the sunlight. And wait. Come back in a week, take a look, come back in 2 weeks and take a look. And if you see the colors fading, don't buy that set of colors. Just don't. Because that's exactly what will happen to your painting. Now, the reason I use Winsor Newton watercolors is that does not happen to the painting. It does not. They're light fast and they guarantee it. Now, when I say light fast, if you put it in the blazing sun in the summertime for like a week, there is no paint that's going to survive that. Not watercolor paint, so don't get carried away. But for normal painting, you know, you do watercolor, you put it under glass and everything, you don't have any worries at all. None. So that's the difference. The cheap ones fade to nothing and the good ones are light fast. So take your pick. So if you're doing a bunch of sketches and you just want to do experiments and stuff, see what you're getting, how it looks and everything, for heaven's sake, just go get the cheap set and use it until you get really good at it, or you get experiment what you want, or you're sketching with it or whatever. In other words, it's not finished work. But if you're doing finished work, don't do that. Don't do that. Because you really don't want to sell a watercolor and have the client come to you 6 months later and say, hey, you know that watercolor I bought from you? Yeah. How come it's faded to nothing? You don't want to hear that. You really don't. That's why when I sell a watercolor, I always put on Winsor Newton paint. Because people who are buying art know. And they don't want to have to buy something that they got to have problems with. That's all there is to it. No mystery. That's it. No mystery. No mystery at all. None. And I was thinking of this trick this woman, or whoever it was, I think it was a woman, put me onto the other night, which is when you're working on colored pencil, hold the pencils in your hand, and the heat of your hand keeps the leads really good. And she's right, it really works good. Man, it just doesn't work good, it works amazing. Less breakage, they're not, so because the thing in Prismacolor, you don't want it brittle, eh? The one that gets brittle is it breaks. You don't want that. You want the blasted thing to be pliable and sharpenable, if that's a wordable. I don't know if it is. If it isn't, I'm sorry. If it is, well, take heed. But just hold them in your hands. That's all she said. Just hold them in your hand. And she was right. It works. You know, they say old dog and new tricks, eh? Well, I just got taught a new trick. Who said that wasn't possible? Who said? Don't all raise your hand at once. Please. Oh, I'm down to nobody here. Okay. Scott. Okay, I don't have to talk then. Okay. Her long, long hair flowing down to her knees. Please, oh, baby, I love you. Her long, long hair. Da 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 da. Da da da. Baby, I love you. Oh yeah, that was the song. I can't remember. I didn't remember the name of it. Now I do. Lady Godiva. And you think who I couldn't remember the other night was Sybil Shepherd. Oh my God. I went right away and looked it up. I went, oh my God, Sybil, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Sybil. My apologies. I had no idea why I would forget your name. Ah. Her long hair down below her knees. Hey, hey, hey. Lady Godiva, Lady Godiva. Here we go. A little bit more contrast in here. Hey, hey. Lady Godiva. Her long, long hair streaming down below her knees. Hey, hey, hey. Lady Godiva. Dun, dun. Lady Diana, no. Her long, long hair streaming down below her knees. Lady Godiva, Lady Godiva, her long, long hair streaming down below her knees. Da da dee dee, da 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 da, la da 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 da. Da 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 dee dee. Ah, you son of a... Oh well. Lady Godiva, da 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 Da, 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 da. Anyway, I sold one of the paintings that I really liked. I personally really liked. I shouldn't have sold it. But then again, you know, if you're a professional artist, everything's for sale, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. No crying over spilt milk, and after all, you can paint it again. Which I am absolutely thinking of doing. And I was thinking maybe of doing it in watercolor as opposed to oil. Doing a translation of it into... By the way, if you didn't know, that's what they call it. And if you take an old master or something, an old master painting, and you do it in a different medium, so like oil to watercolor. I do a lot of that with Vermeer. But if you do that, it's called translation. In other words, you're translating the painting into a different medium. That's simply all it means. And that said, if you do that, then people like it, because, you know, they go, oh, my favorite painting, but it's in oil and I don't like that. Have you seen it in watercolor? See what I mean? Like, it started out as just an exercise, ended up as like a kind of like an art form. And so in other words, if your favorite painting in your entire life is some old master that you just love, but you know that if you get it done in oil, everybody who sees it goes, well, that's fake, obviously. The real one's in da-da. You know, like, but, here's the but. What I discovered many moons ago, if you were to turn it into a different medium, like change that old master oil into a watercolor, keep all the detail and all the great things, or all of whatever the great things about the painting are, then people like it, because then they buy, well, no, this isn't a watercolor rendition of that painting. I bet you've never seen that. So now you've got bragging rights again, right? And that's what they want. They don't want to say, yeah, of course we know it's a fake. It's just the real one's in the Louvre or whatever. But if you do it, as I say, in another medium, like watercolor especially watercolor, because it's obvious right away that it isn't oil. But you can do it in great detail. I'm telling you, I've done it. And people really like them. And it gives them the excuse to say, no, I can have my favorite painting and I don't have to listen to my friends say, what an idiot. Why would you want that? You know, everybody knows it's in the Louvre. Or wherever, right? See what I mean? So it's good to experiment that way. It really is. You might find a whole new venue for yourself. It was very popular for a time. And then, I don't know, so I got sidetracked. I didn't do as many. What happened was like the teaching side of the academy got bigger and bigger and bigger, and kind of, I won't say completely overwhelmed me, but it took up so much energy that I just didn't have that energy to throw into experiments and painting and stuff. So that my painting side, because in essence I was painting all day every day, so then you go and do something like that, sometimes you don't have the energy, the creative energy I'm talking about, to do it. So it kind of falls off. But now that I haven't been for quite some, because I've been in another country, painting non-stop virtually. Well, that's not quite true. What I mean is, I did do some teaching down there too, but not to the extent when I had the art academy. Nowhere near that. Anyhow, my painting now is really what I want to do. I do a little teaching now, 1 day a week. Well, 2 days a week. Sorry, not 2 days, like a day and a little wee bit. A little bit. Mostly to my old students. Because that's all I really want to do. I don't want to. I'm not interested in getting back into that. It's just, I mean, it's a good living, but it sucks your creative energy completely out of you. Well, it did to me anyway. If it doesn't do it to you, okay, but it did it to me. So I said, screw it. Went down to Belize, wrote a book, you know, painted like a madman. Which I can't believe, though, is the discovery earlier this week of paintings I forgot I even did. That is weird. And mostly they were Vermeers. I've been thinking about that, you know, like how did they die? Where the hell did they come from? And I think I finally figured it out. And why I didn't sort of classify them as artwork. Some of them are still on the bloody boards, like I did them on. Like when I do watercolor, what I do is I buy 200-pound paper. I cut out the size I want. I attach it to what do they call that board, you know, with like 2 pieces of Bristol with foam in between the foam. Backer board, whatever. It's like a 1/4 inch thick, if 1/4 inch thick. Yeah. Anyhow, that's what I do, and they're still taped down on the boards. So that led me to think that perhaps they were the original pieces I did when I was learning how to do I taught myself how to do translations of oils. So if that's the case, and they're all Vermeers and stuff, so I know who I like, so I know what I was doing. And that's what I think they are. It finally has occurred to me that must have been what I did, because I don't have the ones obviously I sold, but I have the ones that are still on the backer boards. What do they call that stuff? God, there's a name for it, and I can't remember the name of it. Jesus. Used to buy it by the case. You get the idea. I would hope. The idea. The idea. Now, in my haste to keep this clean, I have rubbed off some of the highlighting, which is never good. Which means I'm going to have to go back in with acrylic and make sure it's all there. Ah, there it goes. Okay. Yep, that's what happened. While I'm here, there's one little spot here where I want to put some flesh tone in. There we go. Though your long, long hair growing down below her knees. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, hey. Lady Gaga. You know, I'm thinking of doing this backwards. Backwards, yes, backwards. I'm thinking about it. Oh, blast, where did I put that color? Where did you go, you? The only trouble with this method is you end up holding like 100 pencils. Oh, God. Yeah. Thank you. I needed that. Lady Dom. Lady Godiva. Can't believe I'm gonna have to go buy a set of Scholar pencils to get this color. Jesus. Because it is a good color. Really bright. You know, I hate to say it, but the dust is becoming a problem. Maybe the kid is right. Clean off more often. Okay. Okay. Lady Godiva. Her long, long hair streaming down below her knees. Oh, Lady Godiva, please. Da 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 I think what I'll do is I'll go in here and start doing some of this. No, not the right color. These are the colors I want for here. Her long, long hair growing down below me. Hey, hey, hey. Lady Godiva. Da 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 dee 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 dee. Lady Godiva. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 Yes, I think that'll do. Talk about highly pigmented color these are. Wow. They really, it's amazing. Hey, hey, hey. I wonder if that tone is even one lighter. I don't know. Dun, 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 dun. No, those are all sage colors. Well, I might get away with this. I might on a mix. By Jove, it does work. One thing about Prisma, you can make it brighter. You can. You certainly can. You can make Prisma very bright, by the way. As bright as you possibly want. Your long, long hair streaming down below your knees. Won't you please, Lady Godiva? Yeah, the more I use this color, the more I like it. It solves a lot of problems, brightness-wise. Like, oh man. Does it ever? Does it ever? Yes, it does. It does. It does. Now, this here is a very light blue. Lighter than that, anyway. This is like a slate blue. No, it's turquoise blue. Okay. One never knows with Prisma what the nomenclature shall be. But she definitely has this light blue. I'm going to lighten that up even more before I'm done. And it comes right into here. So I want that light turquoise color on top of that. Ah, bloody hell, there it is. There's the color. There it is. There's the color, mighty. There she be. R. Which in saying, they cancelled one of my favorite shows, Black Sails. Bastards. When I was a kid, I read all of Defoe's books, you know, the pirates. And to see it come to life, wow, just amazing. But amazed at no more. Why, you may ask? Well, the bastards have cancelled it. And it was really good. They didn't chintz out. In saying that, I do point out that they didn't chintz out on the price. They're not doing the same thing that The Walking Dead that I've decided not to watch anymore. You know, they save money by doing one of their homey pieces, you know. Why so-and-so loves his tiger, or, you know, the background story. Who cares? Asshole's got a tiger? Okay. I'm talking about zombies here, man. I don't care about the tiger. I want to know about the zombies. Anyway. That's gone because I'm not watching anymore. Done. You did me in with your backstories. Because I don't care. I don't care about the backstory. I want the narrative. You know? I mean, if you're reading a book and the author continually backtracks to some part of the story that he thinks is important for the narrative, continually does that, and it does nothing to further the story, pretty soon you get pretty ticked off and you just stop reading the book. Well, that's what they've done. You know, it's too bad the kid got bit by a zombie. Move on. You know, like, how many people have died in that show? I mean, come on. I mean, really. Move on. I didn't think the kid was a pivotal part of the show anyway. And frankly, I thought he was a crappy actor. Yeah, I know he was just a kid, so I'm not going to get carried away or anything. I mean, commenting on him because he's just a kid. But the thing is, I mean, he wasn't the thespian that they made him out to be, to say the least, in my opinion anyway. But again, please, that's just my opinion. Let's not get carried away. Let's not. let us not get carried away. Let us simply say that I don't think he's going to get picked up for his acting chops, because I don't think he was that good an actor. So making out like it was the death of Marlon Brando or something, I don't think so. You know? Yeah. And I'm still reeling over the fact that I didn't remember Sybil Shepherd's name. Oh my God. I can't believe it. I think I've watched everything that woman was in. Well, up until about 1985 anyway. Not so much anymore, but there was a time. But I can remember being in the theater, watching the Last Picture Show, seeing her and going, oh my God. Now there is an ass-looking woman. Instantly. And I said to myself, self? Is it worth heading to Hollywood to see if you can meet her? No. Delusion was not part of my upbringing. But, she was something. She was something else. And to all those naysayers out there, yes, I know she was an airhead. She's still an airhead. But I wasn't looking at her brain. Jesus. Get a grip. That movie had a lot of big stars, made it really big. Jeff Bridges. Oh, wonderful. Not even bother sharpening it. You can just die. Oh, well, there you go. See, I've got a Verithin here that can do the job. Oh, I just noticed something. We have a huge stone in the middle. Yes. I say you want the revolution. Well, you know, I don't care. I'm just constitution. Well, you know. But if you're talking about Chairman Mao, nobody's gonna listen anyhow. Lady Diana, da, 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 nobody's gonna listen anyhow. The revolution, well, you know. Oh, blast you twice. Oh, where did the bloody things go? Well, we're gonna put these down for a moment, because I need to get in some high detail work there, and the only way I'm going to get into it is with the oh, wonderful. The pencil gods, yes, are mad at me. I know. What else could it be? What else could it be? After all, as I carefully place them back, they all come tumbling out. Because I really don't want them all out. I only want a few. Okay, so let's behave ourselves, boys. And what I'm looking for is the third row. Yes, the third row. And yes, that will do. Actually, do a nice little transition color here with that. Works pretty good. You see, the problem I'm having is the detail work that's in this golden, there we go. This golden area. And the problem simply is that my trusty Prismacolors, the Verithins are no good. It will not sharpen. So the only thing I've got left to do the only thing I can do, actually, is go in with the polychromes. And that is what I'm doing. Because they're sharper, and believe it or not, they're not laying down a bad layer of color. Da, 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 da. So I think what I'll do is I'll get a come here, you. I want you sharp. Oh, come on. Yes, sharp, 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 sharp. Because I want to get in here without messing up the surrounding structure that I've carefully built up. And this is all because the very thins are junk. El Junco. At least the batch I bought were. So I have to go in with a sharp, highly pigmented pencil, which the polychromes are definitely fit that bill. So what am I doing? I'm polychroming. Yes, I am. So as I proved the other day, you can indeed mix polychromes and Prismacolors. You can indeed most definitely. And the colors are fairly bright, I must admit. So, oh, Jesus, even that scared me. So I'm going in here, getting some bright color in for these golds, and then I'm going to go around and shade it where it needs to be shaded. Lady Godiva. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Lady Godiva. Okay. Now, and now, the end is near. And I will take the final curtain. Of this to live to heaven in among the in more, much more than that. I did it my way. For what is a man and what he's got? And says it all. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Now, when the Sex Pistols did that song, people went, huh? Johnny Rotten and the Boys? Who now looks like an old turd. I must admit. When you're rotten, you don't age well, I gotta tell you. Johnny is looking a little worse for wear, let me say. In my opinion, anyway. Just a tad worse for wear. So we're going to try a little experiment here with the polychromes. And what I'm going to do is get it as sharp as a needle. And let's see how I can get some very nice highlights in here. No, it's coming off. Yes, unfortunately, the Prismacolor is so heavy that it's not playing nice. Will not play with friends, as somebody I know says. Does not play well with friends. So I can't do that. So I only have a few options to do. But there are options, huh? As long as you have options, you are not out of the game. Now I don't like how the blue is rendered in here. So I'm going to go in very carefully. And you know what? I wonder if it'll tighten this up as well. Yes, it will. As tight as I can make it. Bloody hell, good show, boy. Good show. Favre, you came through for me. I won't forget it. or Faber, or whatever you want to be called. It matters not. You came through in the lurch, tightening things up very nicely, I must admit. Yes, by God, very nice, I must say. The record shows I took the blow and did it my way. Da-da-da-da. Dee-dee-dee-dee. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. On every high and more, much more than this, I did it my way. For what is a man and what he's got? Da 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 da, da 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 da, da da, dee 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 dee, dee dee dee, da 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 da. And took the blues and did it my way. So yes, I'll sit a few, and then I'll say the final curtain, and then I know much more than I did my way. Oh, he's a man. What has he got? And he has not. He did it all. Just the record show. I took the blows and did it my way. And now the end is near. Some colors they work beautifully, and other colors they're funny, eh? They're good for a final pass though, because you can get a really fine point in them, which is kind of cool, because you want that. Too few to mention. See, this yellow is very, very, very bright, and it's very nice and soft. And you go to the white, nah, terrible. So all that says to me is this little inconsistency here. But overall, from what I remember, they're better than they were. When do you know? Da 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 da. Well, I think the best thing to do would be just try the entire gold over here with them and just see how it comes out. N'est-ce pas? I think it would be a good idea just to try it, because this yellow is very good. Very good. Incredibly good, as a matter of fact. How good was it? It's very good. How good? Very good. Very, very good? Yeah. Really good. I thought you said very good. Well, that's what I meant. Very good. But you just said very, very good. Well, maybe Trump is doing something to me. Maybe the constant litany of continuous bullshit is finally rotted in my brain to the point where I cannot discern between good and very good. Maybe that's what's happening. Could it be? I can't understand what you just said. Okay. Okay. I hear you. So you want really sharp pencils in here, because you're getting really in tight detail. And the reason I did this size and this size is because I wanted that tight detail. And I thought I wouldn't have a problem. Why? Because I had a brand new set of Verithins, which I broke open just for the occasion. And much to my dismay, I found out they were crap. Not just crap, real crap. Unadulterated crap. Crapola. So, what are you going to do? Plan B, Faber-Castell. That's what the plan was. And I must say, the plan is working very well. Even though I have an audience of 1. Oh my God. But no, it doesn't matter if I have an audience of 1 or 1,000. I'm still doing exactly what I like to do, which is draw. And I've been happy than pig and shit ever since I started doing this, because I'm drawing non-stop and I'm doing stuff that I really like to draw. Mind you, I have realized there is a price for this, and that price is I'm not getting some watercolors and stuff done I need to do. So I'm going to probably start doing a few watercolors and the like on here. Why not? I ask you, why not? What possible reason is there not to do it? What possible reason? And the record shows I took the boat and did it my way. And yes, I've made a few. And no one in the high among. Some of these are very highly pigmented colors. I am truly, truly impressed. This is a very high pigmented color here. Wow. Very high. And amazing. Amazing. There's more high pigmented colors now. Well, let's try some well, I want a light purple. I say, oh boy, is there a light purple in there? Light purple. Let's say, oh man. Yeah, that'll do. And you know what this little flower she's wearing has got a on top, and then it comes out with a lovely purple flower. I'm going to try burnishing it with the white to see what happens. Well, it's much better on its own color. it's not as good when you've got layers and layers of Prismacolor down. But I gotta say, on its own color, it's not bad at all. It doesn't fill quite as well as the Prisma, but it does blend, I think. Yes, it does blend. Not bad at all. Bloody amazing, actually. So, the only thing that's a bit disconcerting is it gives me that scratched color, or that scratch tone you get when you're getting way too close to the tooth of the paper. But I don't think that's it at all. I don't think I am getting too close to the tooth. It sounded like it, but I don't think I am. So, saying that, I think I just kind of overreacted when I heard the sound. Da 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 da. Absolutely, that is working all right. Da 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 da. And spit out. Oh, okay, you need a half turn. Why didn't you tell me? Bloody colors. Okay. That's your secret. You need a half turn for a new spot. Okay. Well, that can be done really easy. Bloody hell. What do you just say? Why isn't in the instructions? I'll tell you why. Because the people who make these things aren't artists, and they haven't got a clue what we're talking about here. I found that out doing jobs for Stedler. Nobody's an artist. Why are you selling art stuff if you're not an artist? I can remember the Stedler person saying to me, waxing poetic over the abilities of this product they had out. And it was crap. So I said, you're out of your mind, it's crap. What? 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 What'd you say? I said, it's crap. Well, I'll have you know that the artists in Germany have decided that this is a good product. I said, well, I guess there maybe they're crap artists. Because it's crap. Crap. Reading my lips, laddie. It's crap. Bloody hell in the day. That really popped that up for me. Okay. Okay. What is that? Oh, I know what it is. Okay. So anyway, that's what happened. I tried it over here and it's just too much Prismacolor. So if you're using Faber, remember to give it a half turn on every stroke. And it lays down lovely. That's what the problem is. You have to have naked pigment. So there you go. Yep, that's all it was. Half turns. Isn't that something? Man. No, I didn't think of that earlier either. That's kind of weird. But, hey. To everyone's life, a little lion must fall. Okay, so we got the golds out. So I've done the flower, and I'm working up. But I want to touch up the edges with the Faber along here. Because it gives you a really clean line. Which is something to be said. Hell, they're all like that. You have to give them a half turn. Never knew that. Okay. Never knew. Now I do. I will spread the word. All I know for sure is you don't know either, Faber, or you would have put it right on the box. It's actually showing some nice covers there. God. Very nice. Bloody hell. Perhaps I dismissed this too soon. Because I'll tell you, it really, really tightens up the lines. And what I mean simply by that is that anytime you're doing colored pencil, I mean, you can only get the line as tight as the pencil is sharp, right? So you're always looking to get fine, because colored pencils fine detail, so you want to get the thing in, right? You want that fine detail. So what you do is you keep your pencil sharp. Well, as I'm sure you have gathered while watching me do Prisma, keeping that sucker sharp is tantamount to pulling teeth, you know, like God almighty, every 5 minutes or 5 minutes, 5 seconds you have to sharpen your damn pencil. So these ones, they hold their tip a lot longer, and if you're rotating it like that, it's even longer, which is nice. It's a nice feature because you can work longer in a spot without having to go through the broken pencil routine and damn you son of a, you know, that kind of stuff. And hell, if that's the case, then you're apt to make many less mistakes. And you can go in with that fine line I'm talking about right away. You don't have to make it a two-step process. So in that regard, they're pretty good. I gotta hand it though. For some reason, and I don't know why, but that thing, the hand looks, the arm there looks a little small. I don't know why. Either I sketched it small or... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up a bit. Give it more heft. And in order to do that, I'm just going to just add on to it. And we'll see how we go with that. Now because the airbrush spray is down where I'm doing this, the question will be also, will the Faber cover that? And on the lighter colors, the answer is no. So I'm going to go into the darker colors now, because this is all in shadow, and see how it works on the darker colors. And your answer is not too well. So there you go. The limitations of the pencil. So, not to be outdone, I will simply put a little prism on top of it to cover that extra bit. And lo and behold, I get full coverage. Which, to be honest with you, I was expecting anyway. Because I've done it before. Well, I didn't think there'd be a problem. He's dead, Jim. Really? Spock is dead? Spock's gone. He's pushing up the daisies. He's... Dun, 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 dun. Down the backs of the back, down the passionate one. Oh, yeah. Ballroom Blitz. Ballroom Blitz. Ballroom Blitz. Ballroom Blitz. In the relax, and everyone attacking a chance of ballroom Blitz. Into a ballroom Blitz. Ballroom Blitz. Ballroom Blitz. You ready, Mick? Oh, yeah. This is Oh, yeah. Well, to the young lady, you may think either you're using a different grade pencil than I am, or something is really weird, because I still am getting lots of dust. And I have been for some time, and you are not. Why is this? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Unless this is picking up the dust. I wonder. That's a thought. Then let's not big enough. I know. Let's try this. No. 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 And the girls on the back, so everybody. No, see, we're not out of the woods. This is a broken pencil. Don't ask me why, but it is. The lead is loose, which only means one thing. Any pressure will bring it down, crashing down. It will crash and burn. So, knowing this, I am using very light pressure and seeing if I can save enough of it just to get this in before I give it the proverbial match. And the girls in the back say, everybody attack and turn it to the barroom blitz. Oh, no. God, I can't believe I just discovered that. The half twist is the trick. With Fab is Faber-Castell. And on top of that, I made a rhyme. I made a rhyme. Can you believe it? I made a rhyme. It's a little brighter gold than I would have normally put on, but geez, it's nice. Bloody nice. That looks okay. I'm thinking. Damn. darker, say. Just a tad darker. We have the old chestnut, which will definitely give me my dark, but I'm going to have to blend it in. And the girls in the back say, everybody attack and turn it to the bar. Yes, when you see your continuity flaw, which simply means that you see a shadow that should be there and it isn't, and you put it in, and then what you do is you look around to make sure that the other areas don't need the same shadow in their spots as well. Just watch that, because it's easy to do. It's easy to lose track. Easy. And you can also lose a period, which I just did there. So I'm assuming I'm going to lose it down here. So I'm going to put some more in. Okay. And the girls on the back said, everybody thought we were going to put. Always make sure, because if you're an artist or looking at your work, you want to be able to artist to say, yeah, they know what they're doing. You don't want them to say hacker, you don't want that. You know, artists too have a pecking order, and the pecking order is based on a skill level, and what you don't want is somebody to dismiss your work because they look at you as if you're skill level. Now, I do not mean, though, people who are learning, like if you're a student or something, then you get a pass because obviously you're learning, so your skill level wouldn't necessarily be as high, which makes perfect sense. But if you are professional, it makes a big difference. It really does. Because if you're a professional, you get ranked by other professionals, right? And they rank you. They don't say anything to the guy who owns a painting. They'll just make a mental note. Doesn't know what he's doing. I remember I was an old artist, and I was pretty impressed with this guy. And he hadn't been painting long, and there was a show, and I was extolling the virtues of just how good I thought he was. And this artist, believe me, I know, came up and said, oh, for heaven's sake, he doesn't even know anything about not dimension, perspective. I said, for heaven's sake, he just started. She went, oh, I thought he had been painting for her. I said, no, he's brand new. He just started painting. She goes, oh, I apologize. But you see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And that's kind of what you have to do. You gotta make sure. Because if they know you're a pro and they see an obvious mistake, a la King Tut's beard for me, my swan song, which wasn't a mistake, it was more just rank stupidity. It didn't do it once over properly. Didn't happen again, mind you, but once was enough. Embarrassing. Well, a little embarrassing. I wouldn't say I was rocked to the bone or anything. Still. You know, like Leonardo hadn't painted in her eyes or something. Or, conversely, maybe it was in her favor. Maybe she had a mustache and he didn't put that in. Who knows? You never know. And nobody ever will. 500 years ago. You don't know now. You're never gonna know. That's a promise. And that's a promise I can keep. No question about it. You either know or you don't. Mind you, that's what keeps art historians in business, right? I mean, yes, well, I see you use different colors there. Well, by the way, another thing I heard was they're tearing apart. Well, that's how it was put to me, and I said, no, I don't think so. So I questioned a bit further, and no, it wasn't quite what I was being told. I questioned the person, and when I kind of refreshed their memory, they went, no, I guess I didn't mean that. I said, well, I didn't think so. So anyway, they're taking some Vermeers and they're doing complete analysis on the paintings. And am I ever glad they're doing this? And there's a reason why I'm so happy that they're doing this. Because when Vermeer was discovered in the 1840s or 50s, I don't know, as an artist unto himself. No, before that, nobody even knew he existed. There was about 60 Vermeers in existence. And guess how many there are now? About 29. So that means what they've done is they've slowly but surely, the art historians have dwindled the numbers down, saying, oh, that can't be a Vermeer, because, well, maybe the guy wasn't feeling well when he painted that painting. Like, maybe it is him, but, you know, that kind of thing. No. They had to be in perfect health at all times, and, you know, just regular BS you have to listen to. So anyway, I hope that they do, because some of those paintings that they say are not Vermeers, I think they are. Some of them, not all of them, some of them. And this will now, and the art historians are raising a fuss over it. And the reason they're raising a fuss is that they know that if conclusions that they've said, you're quite right, no, it's not a Vermeer, they've agreed with, then their reputations are at risk. That happened to the art historian in England, Peter Nahum, a very, very distinguished art historian who was an absolute expert in identifying unknown late 17th, 18th, and 19th century English artists. Peter Nahum. And when the scandal hit about the Victoria and Albert Museum, well, it just turned out that Peter had given a lot of those paintings the green light himself. So he was interviewed, and they said, "You're an expert, what gives?" And he had a long, convoluted answer, which basically came down to, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Pardon my language, but I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. At least that was the polite interpretation, anyway. And he drifted into the twilight of the art world, as somebody whose judgment couldn't be trusted. And he never recovered from it. Never. Never, ever, never. He's still around, but he's not a go-to guy by any means. So, there you go. So you can see why a lot of historians are going, we don't think that's a good idea. No, you could damage the painting, don't you know? No, not today you don't. Modern technology has solved those problems. And there'll be no damage. Only damage that can possibly happen is to your reputation. Because they've been on a bender for years now, negating old masters that they say were not done by old masters. Now, needless to say, there are fakes out there. There's no question about it. I'm not saying there's not. But the glee with which these assholes seem to pick them out and tell everybody how they knew all along, and it's just disgusting. And really, it's just unbelievably disgusting. And I, for one, hope they burn in hell, because they are parasites. You heard it here first. They're parasites. They sniff around the art world, and they get reputations that they know what they're doing, don't you know? Well, they don't know what they're doing. And it's been proven over and over again. But the trouble is, people who have the money to buy these things find that they want to get it kind of like a certificate of authenticity. So they go to these guys and they search out their opinion, and they got way too big for their britches, in my opinion. And you hear some of the vitriol coming out of them. there's no way. And then they're proven wrong, and they slither away back into their holes. And one of the reasons I'm so hard on these people is because they're destructive. And one of the reasons that even exist, really, is the First and Second World War. Where huge amounts of art were pilfered and taken by invading armies, and the Germans and the Russians and whatever. And when a painting comes out, they're the first to say, "Oh no, I don't agree," and they pick their fights, you know. And it's so done for political reasons. Politics and art, that is, not politics, politics. You know, even that Da Vinci that came out, there was a whole crew of them that said, no, it's not a Da Vinci. It's one of his students, which is a famous refrain. No, it's not a Da Vinci. Sure, it looks like Da Vinci, because his students did it. One of his students did it. Well, funny enough that it has his signature on it. That's what happened to the lady in the ermine in the Polish museum. They played that game, and then somebody did some research, and finally they decided, well, let's find out if it really is a Da Vinci or one of his students. Well, they did the microanalysis and got the fingerprints, because they had to move Da Vinci's fingerprints off of the Mona Lisa, and said, because they knew the Mona Lisa is good, and the reason they know the Mona Lisa is good is because it was in his possession when he died, and it's recorded in his possession, and it's been, they know where it's been for the last 500 years, basically. They know basically everything you need to know about a painting. They know about the Mona Lisa. So when they did the analysis of the Mona Lisa, well, what did they find? They found his fingerprints. Finally. Thank you. Good. Now we'll end all this crap. So the Poles went, well, if they found his fingerprints, then maybe we should look at ours, or the lady in the ermine. And they did, and voila. Voila. Da Vinci. They had a masterpiece and they didn't know it. They thought it looked like a Mona or Da Vinci, but they didn't know. Nobody could prove it. And all the experts said, no, 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 you poor misguided people. It's a copy, or it's one of his students did it. Stop bothering us with this claptrap. Well, turns out it wasn't claptrap. It was a Da Vinci, and is now certified as Da Vinci. And now the Polish museum who owns it finds out that they have a painting that's worth about $500 million. That's right, I said $1 million. $500 million. In fact, it probably would go for more if they had to, if they really wanted to sell it, which they don't. So, no harm, no foul. But that is the state of the art world. This is what the area we find ourselves in. And I for one, consider these people parasites. Absolute, total parasites. They live off an opinion that is really just an opinion. They try to justify their opinion, but everything, if you break it down, is supposition. There is no opinion, it's just their opinion. And they dwell on the absolute smallest little anecdote, you know. Well, there's no record of where it was between 1770 and 1780. Really? And that makes this fake, right? Okay. Where were you between 70? Anyway. This is the problem. And because records were destroyed, virtually destroyed in the Second World War, many of the records these places had are gone, which gave them the provenance. So needless to say, you know, it created an industry anyway, and that industry is filled by people who are basically charlatans, who wave their Master of Fine Arts degree around like it's some sort of flag, saying, I know, bullshit. They don't know squat. Not that I've ever had a problem with this type of thing myself, but I do think that some of the Vermeers that they've successfully discounted as real Vermeers are in fact Vermeers. And now that we're going to find out if in fact they're Vermeers, I am very, very happy. Because that would make the reason is some of the techniques that Vermeer used. You know, sometimes he changed his technique slightly. And based upon that, they discounted as a real Vermeer. That's all it took. So, if his fingerprints can be purloined on these paintings that they're going to test, it'll end the discussion instantly. Because Vermeer didn't have students. According to the historical records, he was a sole painter. He did not have a school or students or anything else. It was just him, his studio, his brush, and his paints. Period. And let me tell you, some of the analysis you see is incredible. The obvious one being when they discovered that they could find if an old master had titanium on it. Because if it had titanium on it, it certainly wasn't an old master. Why? Because titanium is a modern invention to use in paint. They didn't have titanium back in the day. They used glazes to get the colors up, and they used lead white to do it. if you use titanium, it sure wasn't done hundreds of years ago. That I can tell you for sure. I don't get it, you know, look at this young woman who's painting. I don't know how she doesn't get dust all over the paint. Prisma dust. And how it doesn't infect the other colors, and you have to continually. Well, it's not hard to fix, I don't mean that, but she doesn't seem to even put anything down to protect her, the thing with her from her arm, like, which is the worst thing because the skin's warm, right? And this is wax, so as you warm the wax, it picks up like glue little bits and pieces. I don't know how she does it. And I know she's not a vampire because it was during the day she was painting. Ha ha ha. Anyway, I don't know. It's a mystery to me. I asked and I was told, oh, no problem at all. Just keep brushing. Yeah. Tell me something I don't know. But they were nice people, so I'm not going to make any big deal out of it. But I'd love to know, because one problem that I continually deal with is Prisma dust. And I end up having to clean it out and cover it up constantly. And I don't know how she gets away with it. Now, I have considered that perhaps Prismacolor over on the other side of the Atlantic may be a slightly different formula. Possible. But the little part that I didn't quite understand was I asked her, well, did you use very thins? And what do you think of them? She said, what are they? I went, okay. Verithin? I said, Verithin Prismacolors. She goes, I have no experience with those. Okay. Okay, that's okay. Does that mean, now maybe it was lost in translation, because I don't know if that means she knows of them but it's never used them, or she's never heard of them. So I didn't quite get the answer to state one way or the other whether one was or the other was correct. So I don't know. I'll try again. But I graced her with a few bits for her time anyway. And turn into a bar. Let's. Oh, should I start the hair? I think we'll call it a night. I think we'll call it. It's 10:30. All right. 10:34. And the painting is coming along just the way I like it. And I think what I'm going to do is cover the whole thing with paper as opposed to the plastic. Because maybe the plastic, maybe between my arm, the heat of the lights, and my plastic, it's doing it. I don't know. I really don't. Anyway, we're closing in on this piece.
It'll be done tomorrow night. Most definitely. And on to a new project. It's a toss-up between a portrait and a new game character that is really cool. And I also thought maybe I'd do a samurai. Somebody was here last night and said, if you do a samurai, I'd really like to see that. I think he's interested in samurai. So I think I might see if I can find one and do it. It has crossed my mind. Sounds like fun. Anyway, tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow. Not tonight. Ah, there are the colors. More to the color I'm looking at right there. The light's not washing it out quite so badly. So far, aren't the colors good? I'm happy with it. And I think we're going to finish it tomorrow night. I think she's looking good. Anyway, good night all. Have a lovely evening. What's left of it. Or Wednesday, or if you are where you are, it's Wednesday already. And I will see you tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Be there. Ah, the colors look much better right here. So we're going to highlight and do the thing, the whole 9 yards, and I'll have a piece ready for tomorrow to start again. I haven't quite decided, but regardless, I will have it ready. Good night. Sleep tight.